Yeah. Grown Folks Production.
In the mix.
With the commish, Nate.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show for the OMFL, the world's longest online CFM. I'm glad that you're hanging out with me on a Monday afternoon, wrapping things up here at work. We all are. I am missing my co-host, though. I gotta send him a message, I guess. I got so caught up trying to fix some tech issues. Hopefully he will pop in because a lot like me, sometimes we forget. All right, this is usually when we talk about our favorite game of the week from this past week. And I know that he would want me to talk about his game, but man, I really want to talk about this Panthers and Falcons game. And that's probably going to be the one that we talk about. But we will pause and say that a 4-point victory for the Detroit Lions, who have been struggling off again, on again all season. The Chicago Bears have been roaring all year. That is a massive victory at home, putting up 17 points in the fourth quarter. I've seen these guys kind of talking in the chat after their game. A great game, 20 first downs to 18, 2 turnovers to 2 turnovers. So both defenses able to get some turnovers, and then a 23 to 17 minute time of possession favoring the Bears. Justin Fields, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mr. Howell had 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, 8 sacks in this game, which is kind of crazy to think about. Kareem Hunt, 15 for 72, averaging 4.8, but Swift matched that, 9 for 43 for a 4.8 average, only 9 carries. You'd think they'd try to get Swift the ball a couple more times. Mr. London had 5 catches, Allen had 7 catches, Williams had 2, Belton had 4. Mr. Clement had 6. Clement sounds like something you don't want to catch. Mr. Brisker had 8 tackles on the day. Tackles for loss is going to be 3 from Mack, 3 from for Meredith, 3 from Hutchinson, and then the sacks on the day, 2.5 from Mack, 2.5 from Hutchinson. Man, those guys kind of having a heck of a day. And then Mr. Shakur Meredith had 2 himself. And the Detroit Lions, man, they come away with a massive victory. Yeah, I seen your message, Priest, but I can't commentate a game during Press Pass Live. That's not what we do here. I really want to talk about the Panthers and the Falcons. I tell you to go check out the Eagles and Packers, but I don't want you leaving here. I mean, you can't do that, especially if you're on your phone. 436 yards for the Packers. Packers, listen to me. I know you didn't, Priest. I'm just messing with you, buddy. 436 offensive yards for the Panthers. There, we'll spit it out. 10 points in the first quarter, 13 points in the second quarter, and 10 points kind of load up the game at the very end. The Falcons had a great second and fourth quarter, but just not enough to get it done. The Falcons have been on quite the roll. 278 passing yards, 158 rushing yards, both to lead the game. 25 first downs to 14 first downs for the Atlanta Falcons. No turnovers for the Panthers, which is massive. 2 turnovers for the Atlanta Falcons, and the time of possession favoring the Carolina Panthers all the way here. Why am I pausing and struggling with that name of that team? 26 minutes to only 13 minutes for the Falcons. They kind of seem to have a hard time kind of getting things going. 75-yard completion for Mr. Ritter, but he was sacked 4 times. He did have 3 touchdowns with no interceptions on the day. That's superb, but McCaffrey getting it done. 19 for 104. Foreman, another 10 for 57. Those guys led both of the games with the rushing yards. Brian Edwards, 2 for 97 with a big long of 61, or I'm sorry, a long of 75. Mr. Robbie Anderson had 10 receptions for 91 yards on the day. And then looking at the defense, Mr. Julian Love leading this game with 9 tackles on the day. 3 tackles from loss from Mr. Ingram. 2 sacks from Brian Burns, 1 from Ingram, 1 from Thompson, and then 1 from Arnold BK? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not saying that right. But what a victory for the Carolina Panthers against the Atlanta Falcons. Again, they have been red hot. They've been leading the NFC South, taking up what Kobe left off when he moved over to the New York Jets. Words are kind of escaping today, guys. I don't know what the deal is. Why are we sitting here staring at my full cam? You're probably wanting to see some stats. Come on, Nate. Get with the program here. We'll get it caught up here. Now it's time to talk about a little playoff action. Before we do that, let's see. Can we do what Priest is wanting us to do? I don't know if we can. Let's check it out. Let's see. Let's do this. We're going to do it this way. We're going to go. I don't even know if Priest is on my friends list. Priest, you're not showing up in my friends list. Friends list. What the heck is wrong with me? Eagles. Twinkie is. Let's watch broadcast. Let's just do a quick live look in here. Is this it? I think this is going to be it.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this
Priest up 7-10 in this game early in the first quarter. 4:16 left to go here. Twinkie has been on quite the roll the last couple of weeks. He's somebody that I know can really get things going. We get the all orange against the all yellow against the all black. Big run there from Sanders. He's going to break it off, and what a look in. Sanders is going to score the touchdown here. That's going to tie this game, depending on if they can get this extra point. In a 7-7 game there between the Eagles and the Panthers, and a pivotal matchup between two FC teams. And that brings us to talk about the playoffs. Let's talk about the run that a couple of these teams are on. Nothing for Mr. Trey, so I'm not even going to worry about it. If he pops in, he pops in. We'll see him. Right now, if the playoffs were to end today, this is the way that things would look, but I don't think they're going to end today. We've still got several more weeks to go here, and quite the matchups left to go here. You can see the Ravens are in the number 1 seed, but he's already confessing that his season is over. He's going to miss a couple of weeks as he, I got a little hiccup here as my computer's like, what are you doing to me? That's what happens whenever I run dual screen. I can't quite see everything that I need to see. But anyway, Nipples is taking a couple of advances. He's just going to miss like 5 or 6 days there, but he's going to miss a couple advances as he spends some time with his mama, which is a good thing. He's not seen his mom since moving, and he really wants to spend some time with his mom, who's from Puerto Rico. And so if you watch this, Nipples, go enjoy yourself. The Ravens are sitting at 8-3. The Indianapolis Colts are sitting at 8-4. Currently, they would be the number 3 seed. The Browns at 8-4. They're not your number 5 seed. The Raiders are your number 2 seed. They're sitting at 8-4. The Bengals at 7-4. They're going to be your number 6 seed currently. The Dolphins, your number 4 seed at 7-5. And you still have the Jaguars at 7-5. The Broncos, who are currently your number 7 seed at 6-5. Buffalo in the running at 6-6. Patriots, big game this week. They're sitting at 5-6. It's probably going to be it. I suppose the Chiefs are in there. The Titans are in there. The Chargers, technically, I don't see them making a run. And the Jets trying to put it together, sitting at 4-8 with their new owner, Kobe. I just don't see him having enough firepower to make it all the way. I do see a bit of a mix-up coming here. What's up, Bird? I do see the Browns working their way up to that number 1 seed. I couldn't see the Browns winning that number 1 seed, especially with Nipples missing a couple of weeks here. Look for the Ravens to fall down to at least number 5, maybe number 6 seed. I like the Raiders, to move up to your 3 seed. Give me the Colts with your number 2 seed. I'm probably messing some things up. I should probably look at this really quick. So, yep, I like the Browns number 1. I like the Colts number 2. I like the Raiders, the Vegas Raiders, to be number 3. And what's really going to be up in the air is it the Dolphins, the Bills, or the Patriots, all those teams kind of beating up on one another. The Bills have kind of struggled the last couple of games here. The Dolphins, they can kind of run hot and cold, and we see that Lost Sniper is trying to put some things together, but I'm going to take the Dolphins to be your number 4 seed. And it's going to really leave it up in the air about who is 5, who is 6, and who is number 7. If those were my teams, I like the Bengals to get number 5. Number 6, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. And then that leaves up number 7. Is it the Browns? I mean, is it the Jaguars? Is it the Bills? Who else is going to be in this running? Is it the Patriots? Give me the Patriots. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. What's up, Denver? I'm going to take the Patriots to be number 7. That's going to set up quite the playoffs. The Browns, again, would be stepping into that number 1 seed, taking over from the Ravens. Can Nipple step back into the playoffs? He's going to pick that up from wherever he left off. I don't know. There's going to be some ring rust there. There's going to be some things that you're not quite sure. Can he kind of overcome missing a couple of weeks, losing a couple of weeks, and pick that thing back up? Technically, I guess his CPU could win a couple of games, but I like the Browns to go ahead and step up there and get that number 1 seed. And then you guys know how I feel. I've been calling it all season long. The guy's going to be in his 4th straight AFC championship. I think he will represent the AFC in OMFL Bowl number 103 once again. I think they're going to be the unstoppable team. I'm interested to see what does Nipples do after missing a couple of advances, picking his team back up into the playoff. Can he dig out of that hole that his team's going to dig in? The Bengals, they've been a team that have upset a couple of teams this year. He seems to have some things figured out. Little Koch has been in bowl games before. I think he can make a run. Can the Dolphins avoid kind of the collapse that has happened to them in the playoffs the last couple of seasons? He's got Dickerson. We know that he can win with Dickerson. What's up with the Colts? I've been waiting for them to fall off all season. They're currently sitting in the number 3 seed. I think he's going to get like 3 or 4 as they move into the playoffs, maybe even as high as 2. He could even get number 1. Can he go on a run here with that team? I think they're lacking some depth, especially as you move into the playoffs. And then can a team like the Patriots, can they continue to get red hot? Can the Jaguars put some things together here late in the season and make a run? We've seen the Broncos go on a run and get in the playoffs. My money's on the Browns. I think it's going to come down to the Browns. It's going to come down to the Ravens. But eyes are on teams like the Broncos, the Raiders, the Colts, the Bengals, the Dolphins. A couple of those teams could make a run as we get here into the playoffs for season number 103. Going on the other side, if things ended today and they don't, it would be the 49ers with your number 1 seed. The number 2 seed would be the Dallas Cowboys. The number 3 seed would be your Chicago Bears. The number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5, Washington Commanders. 6, Atlanta Falcons. 7, the Arizona Cardinals. Bird, you got your team right there, right back in the running. If I'm looking kind of where things are falling right now and how these teams are falling, man, it's going to be hard to make a push. Today's going to go a long way for Priest. You see him in the chat. We did a live look in his game. We'll do another live look in here in just a bit. Today's going to go a long way. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we see Mr. Kevin in the chat. It's going to go a long way of what he can do, especially in the NFC South. Big victory for the Panthers against the Atlanta Falcons last week, but he has been on quite the run. And Detroit coming away with a massive victory against the Chicago Bears. Can he too turn it on here and make a run for the playoffs? Everybody else, I think you're pretty much out of it. And I think what we see here for the NFC may be a little bit more set in stone than the movement that I think is going to happen over in the AFC. I like the San Francisco 49ers to get in the playoffs. I do think he's going to end up missing the playoffs. He's got to travel for the holidays, newlywed. He's got to go see family. I'm guessing he's going to miss the playoffs. It's going to bump him out, but I think he's still going to win the number 1 seed. What's going to be interesting is what happens with that 2 and 3 seed. Is it Dallas? Is it the Commanders? Is it the Cowboys? Can one of these other teams sneak in there like the Atlanta Falcons, like the Arizona Cardinals? I like one of those two to win it. Give me the Commanders to get the number 2 seed. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to get the number 3 seed. Actually, no, that's not how that would work, right? Let me look at this up. Hold on, Nate. It can't work that way. So Dallas would fall all the way to the number 5 seed. The Commanders would take the number 2 seed. I don't have the schedules right here in front of me. There is a 1-game difference between both of these teams. I'm just kind of picking something a little bit different. Commanders would take the number 2 seed. The Dallas Cowboys would be the world's hardest number 5 seed that we've ever seen in the whole wide world. The number 3 seed would be then up in the air. Chicago Bears, I think, would take your number 3 seed. And then the division that no one seems to want to win, that number 4 seed. Is it the Bucs? Is it the Falcons? Or can the Panthers somehow get back in it? I don't think that they do. I like the Atlanta Falcons to win this one. It's going to be a big matchup if the Bucs and Falcons play again. Maybe Kevin can let us know if they have to play each other again. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Give me the Atlanta Falcons in the number 4 seed. That would leave Dallas at number 5. I like Tampa Bay at 6. And then there's a whole bunch of teams in the running for 7. Is it the Packers? Is it the Lions? Could it be Carolina getting in the run? We've got Arizona here in the run. I like the Arizona Cardinals. Give me the Arizona Cardinals to get that last seed. They're right here on your screen. Give me the Arizona to take that number 7 seed. And then it's going to come down to all the big dudes. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to make some noise in the playoffs, but he's going to find out what it's like to play one of the big boys when the games matter. He's not going to make it all the way. We know that Big Hurt has made it all the way before. We know what D-Wayne can do. We know what D-Money can do, but I'm afraid that D-Money isn't going to be here for the playoffs. So I'm going to pick with my head and not my heart. I like a weird, kind of upset, weird way of getting there. I like the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. Possibly. If that can work out. I got to look at it here. I think that can work out. Give me the Dallas Cowboys versus the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys to represent the OMFL and OMFL Bowl number 103. That would set up a Browns versus Dallas Cowboys 103 matchup. D-Wayne versus Denbrew. 2 commissioners going at it once again. I like D-Wayne in this one. I think Denbrew's got a heck of a team. I think he's got more warts than he did the past few Maddens. We've seen what he could do last Madden. He's got that championship under his belt. Man, 4 years in a row, he's gotten right there. I do like the Dallas Cowboys to go ahead and get his first of Madden 23 and go all the way to OMFL Bowl number 103. Let's do a live look in. Let's see if we can get this to come up again. Worked a while ago. We'll see if it works again. We'll do a quick live look in. See how this game is going. Right here, live on YouTube. The Eagles versus the Packers. It was 7-7 when we looked in a while ago. The Eagles had just scored on a big run. We got a 10-14 game. 7:26 left to go in the fourth quarter. Green Bay looks like they have the ball. They're trying to put a drive together. Entering the red zone. Is the 20-yard line considered the red zone? I think it is. I think the 20-yard line is considered the red zone. Packers and Roger. Oh, no, he's getting out of his end zone. I thought that arrow was pointing towards the end zone. Biden's back to pass. He's got plenty of time. Trying to get to the outside. It's going to be Hardman. He's going to pull it in. Big first down there for the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay up 4 against the Eagles in a massive game, and he is driving. Now I want to turn the corner. Did not get any OMFL news this time. I want to turn the corner a little bit, though. I want to talk about the OMFL draft. Who are our teams in the running? Let's look at some mock drafts first. These are our teams that are in the running if things ended today. Do we have a mock draft? There we go. What's the first one that showed up? I don't know. I don't even know when the second one. Oh, you mean you put mailbag. You didn't put news. You put mailbag. We're going to look at the mailbag. Don't worry about that. I don't think that this is going to be 100% right. Let's look at the standings up to date to this moment. If things were ending today, the Houston Texans would technically have the number 1 pick at 11 and 1 or 1 and 11. My bad. Steelers number 2 at 1 and 10. Vikings at number 3 at 1 and 10. The Rams number 4 at 3 and 9, and then the Seahawks at number 5 at 3 and 9. You still got the Jets at 4 and 8, but you know he's going to keep winning. My Saints at 4 and 8. Who knows what we're going to do? Today's going to go a long way to see where these Eagles fall at 4 and 7. The Chargers at 4 and 7. The Chiefs at 4 and 7. So a lot of teams starting to get clumped up, and I kind of really like that. But those top 5 teams are going to be Texans, Steelers, Vikings, Rams, Seahawks. Technically, oh no, that's going to be number 5. So this was from, I think, a couple advances ago. This is the way they looked at it. They like the Steelers taking middle linebacker Kalen Royal out of Texas A&M, 6'4", 244 pounds, projected to be top 5 guy. At number 2, it's going to be Jerry Brooks, the left tackle, power left tackle out of South Carolina, 6'6", 336, projected to be a first-round draft pick. The power rusher out of Oregon, left end Trent Brewer, they think is going to go to the Minnesota Vikings. Strong safety David Davis out of Missouri, 5'9", 205, going to go to the Houston Texans. And then the Los Angeles Rams, defensive tackle Evan Cooper, power rusher out of Marshall, 6'2", 305. This is where we were going to kind of break down a couple of those like possible picks. I'm going to give you a couple of the ones that I'm looking at. It is not going to surprise me if a quarterback goes high. Look, the Steelers have done some craziness. I don't know what he's doing. He had an NFL rookie one season, ends up trading for another big-time quarterback. Like, what are you going to do with 2 quarterbacks now on the roster? You know the Texans, he's going to want a quarterback. He hasn't quite figured out that quarterback situation just yet. I know he's going to go after a quarterback. What do the Minnesota Vikings do? Does he like where he's at with the quarterback situation? I thought that they took over an import rookie, but I could be wrong about that. And then what do the Rams do? Their quarterback situation, I think he did bring over an import. He's got some kind of other needs there. So you're definitely going to see a quarterback go here. And Madden says the number 1 quarterback on the roster right now is quarterback Matthew Wellerman out of Delaware, 6'3", 226, an improviser. They think he's going to go in the top 5. Snoop James, what a great name, an elusive back out of Miami, 6'1", 234. I would expect somebody named Snoop to be from Miami. It just feels like it fits that team. It fits kind of what they used to be, what we used to know about them back in the 90s. And then we talked about Brewer, middle linebacker Royal. We talked about the defensive tackle, the number 1 player currently on Madden's board, Evan Cooper. You also got Bo Lee from Florida, right end, power rusher, 6'5", 282. You got left end Delvin James, Miami, 6'4", 256, kind of a power rusher. Your couple of cornerbacks, man-to-man guy, Dexter Connor out of Arizona, 6 foot. Derek Zimmerman out of Colorado, 6'1", 196. So a couple of different cornerbacks that could plop in there. We're going to see a lot more about these players whenever we get the combine results, right? So much of this league is going to be based about what do we see happen in the combine? What are the numbers that these guys put up? But definitely we've got some teams that are going to be making some moves. I think, get back over here to the mock draft, I think what you're going to see is the Steelers are going to go defense. That's what they're good at. That's what he's building over there. He needs some offensive firepower, so it's not going to surprise me if we see one of these receivers test out really, really well in the combine. If he goes after one of the receivers here, I don't know that the Jets are going to go left tackle, but it wouldn't surprise me if he tries to build up some of those like lines, the offensive line or the defensive line. Minnesota, I wouldn't be surprised if they going to go after a rushing defensive end, a linebacker, or even a cornerback. The Texans are not taking a strong safety. He's going to take a quarterback. The Rams taking a defensive tackle is going to be surprising. I think it depends on what these teams above him ends up doing, but I don't think that they're going to go defensive tackle. I know he's rated the number 1 player on the board, but defensive tackle just feels like a hit or miss position this Madden. I just don't know if they're going to go after it. All right, you want to do another check-in before we open up the mailbag? Let's do it. Let's see if we can get over here to Twinkie and do one more live check-in. Mr. Priest has been begging me to call his games, just have not been able to make that happen. It's as close as we can get to it. Let's go check it out. We get a 14-10 game still. This is where we were. It looks like we just missed a turnover. Like the strong safety Whitfield coming up and making a massive pick there. That's something that Priest has done really well this season. He has not turned the ball over. He's held firm. He's made good decisions. That one's going to come back to get him a 14-10 game. Your first turnover of the game. The Philadelphia Eagles are set up in good position here at their 20. Ooh, a couple of missed tackles there. Bengals breaks off a 5-yard run against the all-out blitz there. They set up a 2nd and 5 from the 15-yard line. 2:14 left to go. We'll watch one more play before we get out of here. and see if we can't open up the mailbag.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5 for the Eagles. Hurts and the Pistols going to put a man in motion. That's going to go to Smith. Smith looked like he could have had it if he'd have kept on going outside a little bit more. Going to set up a big 3rd down here as the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to make something happen against the Green Bay Packers. What a good game there. We'll do a live check-in right before we call it a day. Let's get over here. And look at the mailbag. Oh, yeah. You know what Nate forgot to do? Nate forgot to open the mailbag. We're going to open the mailbag right now. My computer is like, what are you doing to me? Bill 11 minutes ago, and Pre said he also submitted some. I don't know what happened to my guy Trey today. I'm gonna have to put in a missing persons report here. Sure, he's okay. 100% he just forgot. Go back one because we still had page 22 a while ago. All right, here we go. See if we can't open this up a little bit. Let's go here. We're going to bring this up. We're going to bring that down. Get us exactly where we need to be. All right, my guy Dempru, prior to playing your opponent each week, how much time do you spend reviewing your opponent's depth chart, player stats, and our film? I wish I did it more. I used to keep a running list in a book. I would just kind of run through and I'd try to watch the last 2 weeks of film and I would fast forward them and just kind of write down things that I see a lot, especially like situational football, 3rd and long, 3rd and short, defense, offense, 2nd and medium, 1st and 10. Now what I do is I use really the scouting system in game and I kind of take notes of things I'm seeing a lot of. I don't have a ton of time to review film. I choose not to spend my time reviewing film. I should say that. When I have free time, I want to either make content or I want to go play shooters. And, you know, there's a limit to how much time I can spend on it. I wish I did more. I definitely go look at people's stats. I'm looking for kind of baseline, people they lean to, kind of keeping those things in mind with both the in-game scouting and their stats, kind of mixing those two. I'd say probably less than 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, something like that. I don't really look at depth chart that much. I probably should. Usually the stats will tell me what it is I need to do. Do you change your game plan each week based upon your opponent? Do you stick with what you normally run? I have went back and forth. I tend to lean towards what they do, but I find that teams, that's not 100% accurate. I don't know how they pull that information. As we learned last Madden, it was just on 3rd down, but I think it's a little more accurate this year. But I use that as like a guideline, but also sticking to the strengths of my team. So I'll do a little bit of both depending on who I'm playing. And if it's somebody who mixes it up really, really well, I may stick to my strengths of what I do really, really well. Bill, what do you guys think of the Madden CFM player community? Will ever see a resurgence, or is EA focus on MUT coupled with their mishaps with franchise mode discouraging people from participating? I want to pull the numbers up so I say it correctly. These may be inflated, but according to Madden, there are 6 million leagues. I don't think there's a problem with online CFM. I think it's harder to find that audience. There isn't a great place to find that pool, and I think you have to just it's harder to find them. So EA's forums, Daddy League's forums, League Crawler, Facebook, which is just a cesspool, Twitter, a cesspool of just angry, yucky people. I think finding good quality owners is a lot harder because you get more casual players now because that's what the game is built for. I don't think you're going to see a resurgence, air quotes, in like a massive amount of good quality adults who want to play CFM. I don't know that you're ever going to see that because it's hard to find those guys and you just have to dig through. You're never going to have a plethora of those types of humans around. It's going to be more of the casual player. I don't know if that answered the question, but Kevin, with D Money at 11-0, do we see anyone taking him down this season outside of himself being on vacation? Always. I think we've seen me do craziness in the playoffs. We've seen the Falcons do craziness in the playoffs. We've seen Denbrew, before we start winning the number 1 seed, he was 8-8 that season, or 9-8, 7, whatever that is. He was 500, goes on a run. So we've seen teams do craziness. So anyone can win any given OMFL game, and I think it just depends on when it hits. If you're asking what are the percentages going to say, percentage is going to say that he'll represent and win it all. But we've seen him go undefeated and not win it all before. With the AFC playoff race tight, who do we see being the number 1 seed? I already said that. I think it's going to be Denver. I'm just putting my money kind of where I think you see the biggest benefit or the biggest percentage of a player doing it. And I think it's going to be Denver, especially with Nipples missing a couple of weeks. Priest, Jonathan Taylor tearing it up. Will he break records this year? And will Clancy ever catch him with teams? That's one question. Will he break records? Let's see. I don't think he's going to break records. I don't think he's close to breaking records. Maybe somebody here could tell me even what the record we have. Let's see. 233 attempts, 1,655 yards, 7.1 average, 19 touchdowns. I think he'll get close to the records. I don't think he'll break them. I think the record's somewhere in the 2,500 range, and the touchdowns are somewhere in like the 2,730 range, somewhere in there. I think he's going to get close. I don't think he'll break them. And no, Clancy's not catching him. Clancy is 20-something carries behind him, but 550 yards behind him and 11 touchdowns behind him. There's no way. Clancy's not catching him. No one's catching him. He's winning the rushing yard this year. What teams will sneak into the playoffs and what teams will fail once again? I kind of named them. The teams I think will get here. I'd love to get Trey's input, but Trey's not here today, so we'll have to ask him again on the next one. What teams are surprising you with being under 500? That's a good question, Priest. Let's see. I want to make sure that we name the exact teams. Let's do league under 500. It's not a ton of teams. Chiefs at 4-7, Chargers 4-7, Eagles 4-7, Saints 4-8, Jets 4-8, Seahawks 3-9, Rams 3-9, Vikings 1-10, Steelers are 1-10, Texans at 1-10. Number 1, the Rams. I thought the Rams would be closer to 500, if not right at 500. Seahawks, multiple owners, not surprising there. Jets, multiple owners, not surprising there, even though I don't think he finishes under 500. My Saints, a bit of a surprise. Offensive line just refuses to protect, and rookie quarterback. So I guess shouldn't be surprising, but it's a bit surprising that I'm that far under 500. Eagles at 4-7, a little bit of a surprise. I know he's struggled, but he's a team I've always expected to put it together. And then the Kansas City Chiefs is a big surprise at 4-7. Didn't expect that. Titans at 5-8. Didn't expect that. He's a team that we've seen go on runs here. Carolina Panthers at 5-7. He and I have had conversations, both surprised about how our teams are playing. And then the Giants. I mean, how the Giants and Chargers, not two of the biggest surprises. 4-7 for the Chargers, 5-7 for the Giants. Those have to be massive, massive surprises. And if I had to pick one, those would be the biggest surprises so far this season between those two teams. Just doing a quick update. Nothing new there. What's up, JJ? No more playing between you two. Man, it'll be a big surprise between what can you two teams do as we wrap up. I'd have to look at both of your schedules, but I'm not quite sure who's got it a little bit easier. All right, last look in. Let's do it. we're going to wrap up the show on this. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for the mailbag questions. Thank you, Priest, for the heads up that you and Twink are doing a game here. Looked like the Eagles scored, so 17-14. They got the ball here to start the second half. 8:40 left to go in the third quarter. It's going to set up a big third one. I'll tell you what, we'll do this. I got to wrap things up, but we will finish out this drive. We'll watch the rest of this drive, see what the Eagles can do here. 3rd and 1, we'll call this one, then we'll get out of here. Ooh, Hurts handing it off. If Sanders would have taken it outside, he would have had it all out blitz and cuts it back inside. It's not going to get it 4th and 3. Looks like he's going to go for the field goal. 63. I don't know what the wind is.
I think their halftime adjustments, what they talked about, maybe it's just a little inspiration.
I wish everybody would turn off their commentary. I get it. Some people like having the commentary on. Makes it impossible. They're gonna punt it. We'll watch we'll watch Priest here, and we'll get out of here. Priest, do not watch this screen. That's cheating.
And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback.
You can keep it on. I won't call out his plays. Just don't watch it. Nope. Got a little change here. I think maybe an injury. I will watch this last drive from Priest, and I'll get you out of here on this Monday afternoon. Thank you again for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're not part of the OMFL, if you're not part of the Grown Folks is an online community for adult gamers. Come check us out. We got Xboxes. We got Evolve Sports with us. We got tons of Madden leagues. We got tons of shooters, Call of Duty, PUBG, even some PC games like Super People. Look how Clancy trying to break the tackle there. Come check us out. I think you'd love it.
First half was theirs, but now let's get the momentum back on our side. We forced a punt. Now let's go downfield and score. If we do that, we'll be set up well for the second half.
JJ, what are we talking about? I done moved on so many topics. I'm trying to place, like, what are we even talking about here? 2nd and 12 for Rodgers. Like the pass. He's got some time. Trying to get over there to Trunnion. Tunyon's going to get it down to the 26 here. Set up a big 3rd and 4.
That'll give them 8 that time. And now we've got a 3rd and 4.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that.
Oh, we're talking about the scouting? Oh, the commentary. Oh, totally. I turned the commentary off. Step 1.
Stayed in great communication, and as he
Rodgers in the backfield. Plenty of time. Oh, he tosses it right over to Dubs. Dubs breaking this one. He's at the 30, the 25, the 15, the 10, the 5. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown. Dubs. What a great name. Dubs going to get in. Dobbs. I thought it was Dubs. Oh, that's what you get. Dobbs getting in there for the touchdown. Going to give him the lead here with 6:19 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And in a couple of times that we've checked in on this game, we've had a couple of big plays here. Dobbs with the big touchdown, and that is how we're going to get you out of here. We wrap things up here on this Monday. That is not the one that I want. As we wrap things up here on this Monday afternoon. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. What a great throw by Rodgers. Indeed, Kevin. It was like right on the money. Good timing there from Priest. He's made some good throws. He had the one interception where he's trying to fit it in there. But really great throw there. Rodgers still getting it done. Guys, I love you. You matter. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you're looking for some like spiritual help, you're into that kind of thing, I'd love to be kind of one of the guides, one of the people that are walking alongside of you. Check me out, Home Church 217 on YouTube. Subscribe. Come be a part of our spiritual community that we have. And then maybe grab my app, Home Church 217. Anywhere that you use apps, you'll find our media. This is our church community that my wife and I started during COVID. And we just try to meet people where they are and support them along the journey. I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one. And let's enjoy some Christmas music as we head on out of here.
Smash that like and subscribe.